Swords. This is your kind of briefing of the swords suit in tarot. Swords are, I love swords, and I know that it's a lot of people don't. So if you look at your standard, a lot of people start with the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck, and I was one of those people. And so when I think of the suits, that's typically where my mind will go. And when you look at the imagery in the sword suit, generally speaking, if you look at all the images of all the, the swords have like a maybe a slightly kind of not so super happy vibe. But I think they get a bad rep because I think that in that deck, that was how that artist chose to convey all the various messages that we're looking to get from tarot, and they just kind of dumped it all in the sword suit. But I don't think that the swords should get the bad rep overarching, because really all it is every suit is neutral, because we're talking about how each suit is associated with an element, and an element can't be inherently positive or negative. So your sword suit deals with the element of air. And so when we think about air qualities, obviously make any of your own associations with the air qualities that you want to. When I think about swords and I think about air as it applies to like the practical matter of someone's life or characteristics or personality, then I'm thinking about very much working in this space, which is their headspace. So I'm thinking of intellect and overthinking and logic, and overthinking not in a bad way, PS, like someone who's like really thinks things through, thinks long term, thinks far ahead, really structured, someone that's like rational, witty. Like I usually get people with sarcasm or quick-witted humor or dry humor coming up in sword suits. There's people that are, if it's a people in the sword suit, or even just achievements, I think of them as people who are empowered, and they're usually people that aren't afraid to kind of like stand up and kind of say what they mean. Well spoken. I feel like sword suits represent people that are articulate. I don't know why I'm focused on people so much in this video today, but that's, I guess, how it's working out. I will get into circumstances here shortly. From the kind of flip side or the dark side or the shadow side of a sword's, let's just stick with people because apparently that's where I'm at right now. Sarcasm obviously can come up as something that's negative, using that as defense mechanism. They can be someone who's bitter or has a superiority complex or an inferiority complex. People that are overly focused on achievements versus external satisfaction as opposed to internal satisfaction. They can be a little on the cold side. They can be someone who struggles to emote and have emotional conversations. And they can be someone who really cuts you off or is condescending. And from more of a circumstantial situation can represent pain, struggles, strife, challenges, that kind of thing. And like I said, if you check out the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, then you're going to see a lot of that represented more in a circumstantial sort of way. So this video is already getting to be a little bit long, so I want to just kind of shorten it down a little bit, but I feel like I've only talked about swords people and not about swords circumstances. So just to quickly kind of cover that, swords as a situation, typically for me, will usually indicate something that's uncomfortable happening with that person, and not always. It's more I see as swords circumstantially is how that person is digesting that experience. And so how you read each individual card, which I'll cover in another video, obviously will determine that. But I see the sword suit as, like I said, how someone's receiving that experience. And so usually this is going to be whether they're experiencing pain, they're experiencing it from kind of an overthinking standpoint, or they're experiencing it more emotionally distanced. And again, this is really kind of like person to person, but that's how I would use that in a more circumstantial way. I hope that's clear. I don't know if that was super clear. I do post more and more in-depth tutorials on Patreon. If you want to check it out, please feel free. But it also helps me if you just like or comment on this video. If you have questions, I love questions, so please post away. And thanks for checking this out.